where it goes down, where you hear about the sports all around town. In the country, full of controversy to the highlights. You just not safe in the limelight.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? We got another great episode of The Stoop. I'm TJ. Once again, Nuts and Bolts is our guys powering The Stoop each and every time out. I got my guy Kev over there. What's up, Kev?
What's going on? Pleasure as always to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure to have two great guys from the University of Maryland's basketball program. We got our guy Reese Mona and Travis Vilmont. Thank you guys for coming to The Stoop. Welcome tonight. So I'm going to start off, guys, by just asking you at what age did you guys fall in love with the sport of basketball?
I want to say early, age like 5, 6. Both my parents ran track, so I spent a lot of time on the track growing up. And I don't know what it was, but I always used to carry a little basketball around with me, and they'd be running, I'd be dribbling around the track. I don't know, somebody getting basketball just drawn to me. It was one of those things I just always wanted to play basketball. So I tried just about everything growing up, but basketball is the one thing that really stuck with me. And I was just, let's carry this out for as long as I can.
Okay.
Yeah, very similar to Trav. I would say when I was 5 or 6 as well, very young, loved basketball my whole life. I played a bunch of sports too. My dad was a big football player, so of course I loved football too. But when I got to high school, it was all basketball. And I've loved basketball like ever since I was little, and still loving it today.
Okay. So what your early upbringing is like in the sport of basketball, we transitioned a little bit to the present. When did you guys realize that you may be able to compete and do sports at a collegiate level?
I think for me, towards the end of middle school, I think like you spend like elementary school, it's all fun and games, and then people start to get a little serious in middle school. For me, as I was finishing up middle school, like 7th and 8th grade, getting ready for high school, and I'm making a decision on where I want to go to high school. I think that's when it really set into me. Like I love sports, I love basketball. I want to continue playing. Because if you want to play at this level, it's got to be priority for you. So when I was picking the schools, when I was in high school, like that was always, what was driving me long term. It was like, okay, I want to play basketball at the collegiate level. So I think, it's hard, and it feels like it's getting earlier and earlier for kids these days, like when those decisions are being made.
Sure.
But I think for me, like towards the end of middle school is when I was like, let's really put the pedal to the metal on this.
Okay. Reese, I wanted to ask you a question. I wanted to touch on farm toughness. I know that's a term that gets thrown around a lot by you. And at St. John's College High School, you made your name knocking down threes with regularity. But defensively, you displayed farm toughness by sacrificing your body, diving for loose balls, and taking a lot of charges. However, the question is, would you rather take the game-winning three or take the charge with the game on the line?
Wow. That's a great question. I never even thought of that. Man. It's like you're saying the toughness part, taking a charge at the end of the game. I just worry about that because the refs, but I'd probably say.
Well, this is assuming you get the call.
Oh, you get the call and it ends on a charge?
Yeah.
I would still say a three ball to end the game. Just because, just like when someone shoots a shot and the ball sounds in the air and everyone's just watching like in silence for that ball to drop, and you hit that, that's pretty big time. But a charge at the end, that would be pretty cool too, though. But I got to say the 3 ball.
All right. Now, another follow-up question that I have is, it's fair to say that Mona Farms is where you developed your work ethic, and you weren't allowed to partake in sports until your farm chores were done. Did you maintain that mindset on campus? Like, were you making sure you had papers and everything written before you went to practice, or did you kind of get a little lax on that?
No, I wouldn't say I was pretty relaxed on that. Most guys, they'll try to make fun of me for how often I'm doing schoolwork. It could be on the bus to the airport, on the plane. Most guys fall asleep on the plane. I'm up typing a paper. So I'd say I didn't relax on that. And it is kind of what just carried over for me, even with just the work that you were saying, like lifting, still love lifting, and just that type of stuff kind of is like what you said might set me apart from like the way I was raised on the farm.
Cool. TJ, if you don't mind, I want to ask Trav something real quick.
Go ahead, man.
So Trav, you come from a very accomplished sports family. Both of your parents are Olympians in track and field, and so it's the inevitable that the discipline that it takes to excel in sports is instilled. We get that. And you did mention earlier that you ran track as well. But how were you able to dedicate the time between running track and parents being so dedicated to track and all of that to still be able to hone your skills to be able to play basketball?
Yeah, I think track is one of those sports where it's easy. You know, you spend like, let's say you took 4 or 5 years off from playing basketball or soccer or something like that. You lose those skills, your touch a little bit. With track, you just, you know, you're running. So it's just something like whenever you get out there and run, it all comes back. But, I mean, my parents never really pushed me in anything. They were always like, you know, we want you to do whatever you want to do. So, you know, whatever sport you find that you fall in love with, that's what we want to push you in. That's what we want to support you in. And I mean, it was always kind of a given that once I got to high school, I'd at least give it a shot on the track. You know, I don't know if I had much of a choice on that, but beyond that, they've always supported me 100% and whatever. So when I told them like basketball is what I want to do, they were like, let's like I said, pedal to the metal. Let's push this as far as we can. So.
Okay.
Cool. All right, so I'm gonna read something here because I made a phone call back to the program earlier this week when I found out, you know, you guys confirmed. So just listen to this real quick. When it comes to Travis, he's that ultimate energy glue guy. He's what the team needs when the team needs it the most. And Reese, he's of course the fan favorite. He got that energy when he gets in the game that the fans just simply love. So for you guys hearing those things, when did you guys really accept those mantras of being a part of this year's team, and how did that make you feel?
I mean, just starting off, just being able to be a part of Maryland basketball in general and this year's team is just so special. And to get any niche on this program and this team is special. And but the part of the fan favorite, it's definitely something. It's funny. Like you get in, like people start like chanting your names or trying to get you in, like yelling for Turgeon, throw you in. It's always funny, and it's always it's like you're like yelling at them like just a little more, just try to get you on the court. But whatever role you get with the program, you just got to embrace, and it's fun just to be able to be a part of the program, and any role you can get, it's fun to embrace and just enjoy it.
Solid. Go ahead, try.
I think piggybacking off that, you know, like you said about just being part of the program, I think like for the two of us being just kids who grew up in Maryland, like playing basketball in the DMV, like, you know, Maryland basketball is like the gold standard for us. So, you know, when you're there and you're part of that program, it's just like, you know, whatever we can do to help push the team forward, push the program forward, push the culture forward, like that's what we're going to do. You know, and it was a lot of hard work that went into it. And like he said, though, when you have a chance to get your fun out there, like you make the most of that, you embrace that, you have fun with it. But I don't know, just taking pride in being a kid from Maryland who played basketball, who got to put, you know, a jersey on my chest with Maryland on it every game was just like, you know, it was like a dream come true. So it was just like whatever I need to do to make that the best experience for myself, whatever I can do to help push the team forward, the program forward, like that's what I'm gonna do.
Another question is that I have, you know, right outside the locker room, you have that, like, I want to say historic hallway with all the greats all along each side of it. You guys talk about highly about what it's like to be a part of the program and things of that nature. But when you look at some of those names that are along that wall, everything from Blake to Bias to Dixon to Francis, what does that mean? Just even taking a walk down that, or really understanding the majestic of past and present of Maryland basketball?
I think. No, you go ahead, Reese.
Okay. I would just say, as we were saying, it's just so special to be a part of a program where all those players have come through, and how it's, like you said, historic great players into present great players. Like I didn't get to play with Melo, but I knew Melo from the area, went to O'Connell. He's on the wall now. Bruno just got on the wall, which is really cool. And I just feel like more guys that Anthony's got to get on the wall, obviously. So guys like us to play with those guys and they get on that wall with those names, just pretty cool to really just be a part of. And really, like you said, the present, to know those guys, be friends with those guys, to be on that wall is really, really cool.
Yeah, I think it almost feels like a brotherhood when you think about it. Like, you know, I might have scored 2% of the points in my career that some of those guys scored, but we had, the similar experience, went through the same things. You know, those bonds that you build through those 4 years, there's nothing like it. It lasts forever. Another thing I think about is just like, you know, again, we talk about like Bruno, Melo, Ant will be on there. Like, I think it's just cool and fun to think about like what they did to actually get there, because I didn't totally understand that till I got to Maryland, but like I watched, the work those guys put in, day out to, turn into what they turn into. I'm talking, in the gym 3 times a day and, sleeping and eating right. And, the mental side of the game too. It's just like, a lot goes into that for a lot of years. So it's cool to be able to see like all that hard work come to fruition. And now those guys are, they're immortal now. So.
Cool. Yeah, Kev.
All right, so you mentioned that, some of these, I'm speaking to Trav here, that some of these guys are immortal and what it meant to you. But as a guard, we know that Anthony Cohen got the majority of the playing time and highlights, and that's all good. But both he and Coach Turgeon spoke highly of you and your contributions to the team. The stuff that does not appear on a stat sheet, yet you've contributed just as much as what they would say. How does it feel to be recognized in such a manner? Because you could have easily moved on and possibly prospered even more somewhere else, but you were still that essential piece of the team. So speak on that for us.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, it's gratifying. It feels good just because, again, we don't, I didn't play quite as much in the game, but, I worked really hard, the team lifts and practices. And I think it was 2 summers ago, like Reese and I were getting up at like 6:30 and getting in the gym. We was working on one of the GAs every weekday morning, like 6:30, was working on our game because, we knew how valuable our roles were to the team. And, when you're practicing, workouts, whatever, like you just want to compete. Like every day in practice, I'm matched up with Ant. Like I'm trying to beat him, and as great as he is, like I'm a competitor. I want to, I want to push myself. I want to push him. So it's gratifying just to, remember again, like just because those contributions didn't always show up in the stat sheet in the game, just, the things that we did to help the program and how much work that we put into, actually get to the point we could help, because, a lot went into those 4 years on and off the floor. So it's definitely gratifying.
Okay. Now you mentioned your competitiveness and how you and Reese worked out a lot. And Reese, you were actually a walk-on, which is by no means an easy task. So as a walk-on, were there different expectations from yourself, your teammates?
Trav walked on too. They both walked on.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Both walked on. So were there expectations from your teammates and the coaching staff that you had differently from yourself as opposed to what they may have thought?
Slightly. I mean, I would say we're all treated the same. We're respected the same. But I do feel like it is a respect you need to be. You have to earn a little more. Because, I mean, you come in, you're not recruited. So it puts you on a level, like, skill-wise below. So it's something I think walk-ons, you almost have to have a chip on your shoulder. Be like, I didn't get recruited here, but I'm going to, like, earn my right to be on the team, earn my right and respect every day, day in, day out. I think walk-ons have the type of role of being some of the hardest workers on the team. And that's something you really can't take a day off. Because if we take a day off, I mean, we get abused in practice just because everyone's so skilled. It's day in, day out. I just think something that you just have to be, and the academics is big. So that's something I feel like walk-ons you have to embrace too, is crush it in school, being a leader on and off the court, and just earning that respect to where as a walk-on, still being a walk-on, you can be a leader on the team just because of how hard you work and go every day.
Yeah. Nice.
So,
what's that?
To build on that, like when I walked into the locker room that first time, I guess it was 2016, like, I didn't have any big commitment deal. Like nobody knew my name. I just, was a kid who, he got added to the roster, was going to be on the team this year. And, it's like you're starting at the bottom of the totem pole. And the only thing that is to do is just work your way up. So that's why we get up in the summertime and work. It's just because, we wanted to earn that respect, like, and show, we can play. We're here for a reason. We're here to elevate guys, elevate ourselves. So then when you get to your junior, senior year, even if you aren't playing a lot still, it's like, they know what you're about. They know you can play. They know who you are. And I think we've both gotten to that point where we were leaders because, guys respected us, but it was earned. It wasn't just something that was given.
Cool. What else you got, Kev?
So, yeah, I wanted to ask Trav this. Now, both of you guys, neither one of you are academic slouches by any means. Reese, you're a 2-time Big Ten all-academic honors, and Trav, you're 3-time. But this specific question is for Travis because being a dual athlete, like, how tough is it to do that?
Yeah. Jeez.
It gets a little, I don't know if confusing is the word, but it's just a lot sometimes. You have like double the meetings and double the obligations and stuff. But I will say, like, the springtime, it's not like basketball just stops. Like, there's still workouts 5 days a week and weights and pickup and things. So I think it's just kind of like, for me, I wasn't naturally the most organized person. I still not the most organized person, but it was just about like, you got to have your ducks in a row. You got to be locked in and focused because, basketball ends and it's like you jump right into track and it's like I just have to, I guess, have your affairs in order. Because, college by itself is a lot. Being a student athlete is a lot. So you could kind of fall into that trap super quickly. It was just about, biding your time and stuff and making sure you have all your obligations and things written down and locked in.
Nice. Yeah, TJ, you got something for him?
Yeah, definitely. Listen, I've hosted for a bunch of different teams, and I've been around the nation going to see different collegiate games. Nothing except probably when I went to Cameron mirrors the Xfinity Center. That energy, that crowd, that fan section is kind of only second to maybe one. Talk about what that meant for you guys, how that just atmosphere, that energy. I've been in games where you guys were down and that energy just went crazy and then it just gets to a climax, to a crescendo. Talk about that. Talk about that feeling you guys always felt being there and playing them.
You got it, Trav. You can start it.
I mean, that's like you dream about that when you're a kid. I've been to a lot of Maryland games as a kid and just sitting in that crowd and just like feeling that energy, but to be on the court for it, it's just like, I don't know, it's hard to put into words how that feels, especially like you talking about you're down and you guys, you make a couple buckets and you get the crowd until you start pumping up the crowd and stuff. It's just like you get a jolt of energy that you didn't know you had in extra gear. And like, it's a real thing, like home court advantage, like that helps you win basketball games. Like you get that extra energy, it really pushes you to that next gear. But that's what you work for. That's why we work so hard, is because we want to be out there in front of those fans and we want to put on a show. We want to get results out of it. So that's one of the things I'll miss most next year.
Reese?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I think, as you were saying, it's one of the best fan bases in the country.
Yes.
And especially, I would say the students, they bring it usually game in and game out, but there's special big games when the wall is totally packed and it's standing room only up there for the students really bring it. And that will, like, we use that energy and feed off the fans' energy. And that's where you say we make special runs. And I think Illinois is a good example. We're down maybe 14 points and crowd's out of it a little bit. We make a few shots and they start going crazy and we make a run. And when Ant got the last foul at the end of the game, I mean, me and Trav, we're standing right next to each other with no way we could have had a conversation. It's so loud in there. So it's awesome.
Cool. Now, speaking about the program overall, in college basketball, you have your Krzyzewskis, you have your Roy Williamses, you have your Tom Izzos, but there's a guy that I really consider to be an unsung guy in Coach Turgeon. He doesn't get a lot of the national fame like some of these other coaches do, but the program is right up there with some of the top programs in the nation. You guys came in highly touted this season, and Coach Turgeon is on you guys constantly. Talk about a lesson or two that you will always take away for the rest of your life that Coach Turgeon might have told you or instilled in you.
I think, one of the things I heard him say a lot over 4 years that, again, just going through that experience of college basketball stick with me. He used to always say, just like, winning is hard. Like, I think a lot of people don't always appreciate how hard it is to win in college basketball in the Big Ten. It is really, really hard to win.
Yeah.
And I think it's just, you got to find that balance where, you win a game and it's like you get a win, you want to celebrate a little bit. Like, it's hard to win. We won something, but it's also like, okay, but what's next? But it's not, you got to find that balance between looking ahead and also, celebrating those little wins. But on the same time, you lose a game, it's like, okay, it was disappointing to lose. We hate losing, but like, it's not that in the world. How do we bounce back? How do we win the next game? You can't let one loss spiral into 2 or 3 or 4. So I think just, overall finding that balance, staying even keeled, not getting too high, too low. That's kind of the recipe to success in college basketball and also, I guess, life beyond that.
I think Travis said it best, and I was thinking of the line he always says, it's you can't get too high, can't get too low. And that's exactly, it's big for college basketball, but it's big for life too. I mean, stuff happens, and if something bad happens, you got to keep your head up while you're low, so you can't get too low. Like Travis said, you win 6 games in a row, or life, everything seems good. You can't be like overconfident. Oh, you still got to stay locked in. So that's something you said often. It's something you can live by too.
Got it. Now, this past season, you guys had a lot of characters on the team. This is another thing I had to phone in on. So I want you guys, I'm going to throw some things out, and I want you guys to figure out who best takes this moniker off the team. So I want to talk about, who do you think was the most athletic? Who was the team joker? Who was the guy who worked the hardest on and off the court? And who was the guy who was the unsung hero? So we'll talk about first, who was the team jokester? Who you guys thought was the team jokester this past year?
Who would you think, Trav?
You stumped him.
The whole team is funny in their own way, but who are you going to go with?
I mean, I think a jokester, I think a goofy. Sticks was by far the goofiest guy on the team.
Okay.
He's like, you do anything in front of him, he's making fun of you, he's laughing at you, he's messing around with everybody. I mean, if you had to pick one jokester, and it's a funny team, a lot of funny guys, you had to pick one guy, I'd probably say Sticks.
Yeah, I'd go with Sticks, but probably Daryl too. That's his sidekick. I mean, those two are best buds, and they're always making jokes. So either Daryl or Sticks takes that.
Okay. Who's the most quietest guy on the team?
I would say Hakeem.
Okay.
Hakeem and Ricky.
Yeah, I was about to say Ricky too.
Those two.
But they're not. They were really shy at first. But then, I mean, everyone gets comfortable with the team, and I mean, then you find out who they really are and their personality, and no one's really that shy once they get to know. But at first, those two, it was tough to talk to in the first few weeks, but everyone opens up eventually.
Now, besides you two, but somebody else on the team who worked on the court really hard and who worked off the court pretty hard?
I mean, first guy to come to mind for me is Ant. Just, 4 years of hard work and, everything he accomplished at Maryland. He's one of the guys. But I also, when I think of like the shot Daryl hit at Minnesota, I think about how many hours he went to the gym at night and just, practiced that shot. Like that he shot that shot in the game, but he shot that shot so many times before, and it was just so great to see because his freshman year, I remember people like guarding him from the paint because they're daring him to shoot, and now he's he got to that point where he took the game winner. So that's another guy I probably want to highlight.
Yeah, I have to agree with Trav for sure. It is cool seeing Ant give it all for the program, and he's a late night kind of guy. I mean, you go over to the gym. If I'll leave doing homework at 11, I look down and he's in there by himself getting shots up. So I say that. And then also Daryl, like Travis said, how much he's worked on his game to be more of a complete player. And for him to be having a great shooting percentage this year and to make shots like that was really fun to see.
I got one more, and then it's back to you, Kev. Going into this season, you guys are, like I said, highly talented. Everybody was looking at you guys like you guys Final Four bust, national championship or bust. So when you go into a season, give us the perspective of what type of pressure you face mentally and even on the court.
I think, everybody, we're not immune to that stuff. Everybody's got social media. Everybody hears things like that. So, of course, what's going on.
Good point.
But I think early on, it was basically like, look, you gotta tune that stuff out. Like, for us, it's just win one game at a time. Start with the non-conference, then you get to the conference. It's, win every conference game, win a league championship. Then you move. It's just like a stepping stone, one thing at a time. Because when you get caught up in the big picture, every little thing starts to look bigger than it is. You lose a game you're not supposed to, and it's like, we wanted to win the national championship. Now we might not be able to, but I think it's just little steps, and that's kind of what we focus on. I think that's why we're successful, just because it was like one step at a time. What's next? And that's the only way things worked out the way they did.
Cool. Reese?
Yeah, it's impossible not to think about it, and for the most part, but you, like Travis said, you got to try to have tunnel vision. And I just think it's funny. Like when we lost to Penn State, they rushed the court, and me and Travis, and we're all just thinking like, that is kind of crazy. Like they beat us and they're rushing the court. Just shows how big and how hype how much hype we had behind us. And so you can't miss that. But just instead, hey, and that's just something we started embracing, and we started just trying to get better every day, whether it's practice, whether it's a game. I think we're embracing that, and it stinks as I felt like we still were getting better after the last game of the season. So it was a bummer it ended the way it did.
Hold that thought. Go ahead, Kev.
So I want to go back for a second.
Okay.
We're talking about preparation and the amount of shots that you guys have taken over time and time again. This is what you do in practice, so that in the moment of a big game, it's just the same shot that you've taken time and time again. Anybody who's ever touched a basketball, TJ and myself included, you're on that court sometimes by yourself, and you're putting up that shot, counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to end the game. Most people picture themselves as Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. You pick a name. Rumor has it, Reese, that you envision yourself as Steve Blake. I'm curious, and that's not a knock on Steve Blake in case he ever sees this, but most people pick like the brand marquee name. What was it about his game that resonated with you that you chose Steve Blake?
I mean, I just thought he was a beast, and kind of growing up a Maryland fan, it was him. I mean, maybe Gravis, that both just had that dog in them. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's the video of Steve Blake fighting someone in practice.
John Gilchrist.
It was who?
John Gilchrist.
It was him and John Gilchrist?
I was watching it yesterday, yeah.
Yeah.
They were fighting in practice?
Oh, yeah. It was like pickup. It was when, I guess that was obviously Gary. And we see one of our guys, Troy's in it, and you see him in the background. And yeah, they just like started shoving and started getting after it, and guys broke him up. But that's just like, he had that dog in him. He had that chip on his shoulder. And that's probably why that's why it's him.
Understandable. Good answer. All right. Go ahead, TJ.
I was going to ask him about the season. You want me to take that one? Are you good? All right, let's do it.
Go ahead. You knock it out.
Yeah, no, that definitely hurt. Just the amount of work you put in from the springtime when the last season ends into the summertime, into the preseason of this year, and then all the ups and downs of the season. It's a roller coaster. Obviously conference play and winning a Big Ten championship was one of our big goals, but I think at the end of the day, in a lot of sense, you judge yourself off of how you do in the NCAA tournament. And that's what, all of us came to Maryland to do, which is play in March Madness and go as far as we could. So it definitely hurt to not get the opportunity to go play. You want to either go out on top as a champion or, end the season in the locker room in tears knowing you gave it everything you had. But on the bright side, obviously we weren't the only ones. Everybody else in the country went through the same thing we did. So, it was like that for everybody. And we went out on top. We ended our season cutting down nets on our home floor. So I guess you can't really go out in a better way than that.
Yeah, Reese?
Yeah, I mean, Travis said it. It hurt. We had big hopes, big dreams. We thought we were a Final Four team. We were going to battle for a Final Four national championship. For that to be cut short, it's a bummer. With a lot of pieces like unknown, and it just stinks we couldn't battle out together one last time for a Final Four and championship. But that being said, it is pretty special for the seniors. Like, it hurts for them like the most, but I feel for them. But it is nice that the seniors like Travis, Will, and Ant, they get to go out on top, go out on their home court, senior night, winning a Big Ten championship and cutting down nets for their last game of college basketball. That's pretty awesome, and no one can take that away from them or our team as being Big Ten regular season champs.
Absolutely.
So, Trav, you had a pretty solid career at Maryland in double sports, bro. And Reese, hopefully you'll be returning next season to do your thing. Let's talk about what the future may hold for you guys. Trav, I'll let you go first. You can kind of go down memory lane and think about what you just went through for the last 4 years. But what's up next for you, bro, and what are you looking forward to in this next chapter of life? Yeah,
no, I'll definitely it's been the best 4 years of my life. I think just everything we went through as a program, as a brotherhood. I think the best part, not only the memories and the experience I'll have of playing for Maryland, just my guys. Like, I have really made some best friendships that'll last a lifetime. and we'll have some memories together that just, I can't even begin to start telling the stories that we have had over the last 4 years. So I'll miss that, but it's not going anywhere. I'll still be in touch with all those guys. I'll still be the biggest Maryland basketball fan around. Next year, so I'm actually coming back to school. I'm starting a grad program, like a 1-year grad program in technology and entrepreneurship. And I have 1 more year of track eligibility, so I'm going to use it. And I'm on the track team next year.
Nice.
So I'll still be around a little bit. Won't be quite the same, but the guys can't get rid of me just yet. I'll still be around every once in a while to check up on them and see how they're doing. And, I'll be their biggest fan next year. So I'm excited for that.
You gonna stop in for practice at all?
You know what? I don't think I can resist. I was saying, let them do their thing. But every once in a while, I want to check up, see how they're doing. I hope Reese is handling his business as an elder statesman. He's gonna be the old head next year. So every once in a while, but I'm gonna save most of it for game day.
Got it. Reese, how we looking for the next season, bro? Talk about it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think we're ready to make a big run again, another great year. I think we're being overlooked. I think people are doubting us, and I think it's nothing better than proving people wrong. So I'm excited. Our guys, we're going to have a chip on our shoulder and ready to go. We got unfinished business. We're looking to get another Big Ten championship and defend our title. So it'll be a good time.
I mean, you guys are pretty well equipped. Pretty much everybody will be back. Probably miss the departure of Sticks and of course, but still going to be a solid and great thing to look. Listen, I really want to thank you guys for stopping by the Stoop today. Being a part of that College Park experience is epic, and you guys have had that opportunity, and we should still have it, and Trav will have it on the track as well. So we wish you guys all the very best. Thank you so much for tuning in with us today and chatting, man. And like I said, we wish you guys the very best, and hopefully you come by the Stoop again sometime soon. To my guy, Kev, thank you so much.
Appreciate y'all coming out here and love it.
Got
Thank you guys for having us on.
All right, guys.
Yeah,
Another episode of The Stoop, powered by Nuts and Spokes. We'll see you soon. Take care. All right, so before we leave out, thank you guys. That was super stellar. Kev, you guys just want to go over the drop again for him real quick?
Yeah, we spoke about it. They're ready. So whichever one of y'all want to kick it off, go ahead.
All
right, and Trav, we're saying, and you're tuned in to the Stoop.
The Stoop, tune into the Stoop.
All right, I'll start and I'll send it to Trav.
Okay, who wants to go first? All right, so what I'm going to do is put you on speaker view. Okay.
So I was going to say it. I was going to say I'm Reese Mona, and I thought we were saying it together.
Okay.
Or do you want me to just say it?
How do you guys want to do it? However you want to do it, we're going to do it.
Listen, we can do it a number of different ways, and we'll just decide which one is the best at the end. So if you want to do it individually, like I'm Trav, I'm Reese, and then say it together, or vice versa, you want to do it individually, doesn't matter. We'll figure it out.
Okay. Well, I'll do it individually. Trav can do it individually, and then we'll do it together real quick.
There you
That'll
go.
work.
There you go. Take it away.
All right, so I'm ready whenever you are.
We're already still recording. Keep going.
All right. I'm Reese Mona, and you're tuned in to the Stoop.
I'm Travis Bauman, and you're tuned into the Stoop.
All right. Now, who's gonna go first on the duo?
I'll say it, and then we'll say it together.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I'm Reese Mona,
And I'm Travis Bauman.
and you're tuned in to the Stoop. You want to run?
Woo!
All right.
I like it. That was quality, gentlemen.
That's what you get for 3 years playing on blue team and shell offense and practice. That's what you get. Chemistry.
Think alike.
Yeah.
Good
Very
chemistry.
nice.
Good chemistry.
All right, real quick though.
Yeah,
Off the record,
I got one
practice
too.
between the two of y'all, who got the better of the other?
Shit, we were almost always teammates. I'm not gonna lie.
I will say we played in the summertime. We did play a lot of one-on-one.
A lot of ones.
And I'll say we each had our fair share of victories. It was a good matchup. But once practice started, we was always on the same team. So.
And we usually me and Trav are nice at the ones. I mean, we beat pretty much. I don't think there's a guy that I haven't beat on the team. Like other than I don't play the bigs, but I mean we'll split games with almost everybody.
100%.
So there was always a good bump when we played too.
Okay.
Who's more of a sore loser?
Shit, we both don't like losing, so I don't know.
If you up at this level, you can't stand losing.
I hate losing.
I feel you.
Most
All
definitely.
right.
This past season, what was your most exciting game? And then so far to date in your career, what was the most exciting game that you guys had? So that's like a two-part question. This past year, what was the dopest game you guys had? And in your career so far, what was the best one?
Trav, you can do your career. Yours was longer so far.
Career? I mean, there's a couple different ones, I guess.
How about this season first and, the whole career?
This season, I mean, obviously the senior night, obviously Daryl's shot. The one I probably stands out to me as much as anything was Michigan State. At Michigan State, just because like the buzz of playing on college game day and you get out on the floor for warm-ups and the student section's packed and you're winning a lot of the game and you go down, and once Michigan State gets you down at the end of the game, you usually don't win. And then for Ant to go in that little spurt he went on was just, I don't even know. And then just at the game knowing like we really just won at Michigan State, because that's a tough place to win. I'll remember that one probably. For career, I'll say there's nothing like winning our first tournament game. That was, I guess, my junior year. We beat Belmont.
Sick.
The tournament is just like, I mean, it's just such a fine line. It's a close game, and it's like there's 2 minutes left, and somebody's season's over, and somebody's moving on to play in 2 more days. And it's just everything, the pressure, the stage, you're on national television, and the police escort to the game. And it's just something about the tournament is just different. So I don't think you can beat that.
All right. Reese, talk to us, Reese.
Man, Trav once again said it best. That NCAA tournament game, that was probably one of the best weeks of my life. Just the excitement of each game. And Trav said the build up, the energy. I mean, in the hotel, they have the bracket printed out. And in the locker room after, you get to stick your name up when you win. And just like Trav said, there's 2 minutes left. We're tied with Belmont. In 2 minutes, someone's season's over. And just the emotions. Like, six dunk was probably the greatest play of, like, probably this, like that game, obviously. And just that was the moment we felt like we were going to win. And just for to do it over dunk over a great player was pretty awesome. I mean, this year there's too many games. Illinois, I think Minnesota was one of the craziest comebacks I've been a part of. Just nothing went our way. For us to win that was incredible. But I think Trav said it, that Michigan State was the most memorable because of just winning there. It feels like almost impossible. And for us, it felt like the game slipped through our hands. And then Ant just stepped up and named his own 11-0 run to put us ahead of them in their gym when their fans were all going crazy. And after Cash win a big three. And just for us to come out of there with the win just showed how tough a team we were.
Was it tougher to sleep the night before that game or the night after that game?
Night after.
Yeah, a night after, for sure.
Beating them, I mean, that was just something special.
Crazy.
How'd you guys feel when it was actually game day at the Xfinity Center in College Park? Like, I'll be honest, that was pretty big for me. So I can only imagine how that was for you guys. Like, how was that energy that day, man? That game was crazy.
I was buzzing. By my senior, I wasn't getting nervous for game days, but like I got to the gym. They had food for us at the gym, and I didn't even eat. I couldn't even eat because I was just like so like excited. Like we walked out on the court at 11, and the wall was packed. Yeah. It's like Reese Davis, Jay Billis, guys I grew up watching every Saturday, are like right there on set. And it was just like, man, like this is like they're here for us. Like this is where we have this here. And I got pictures of students lined up at 7 a.m, laying out in the cold. Like it was, I'll never forget that as long as I live.
One more quick one. This is another one as we could have probably did a whole nother new show, but tell us an alumni that you met from the program that, pretty wowed you, or somebody you really actually wanted to meet and actually had a chance to meet so far.
What you think, Reese?
Well, I would say one thing that's really cool is that Walt Williams is always there, and he loves to talk to us. So I mean, he's a beast. He's a monster, and but he's so cool. I mean, he'll talk to you as long as like you have time. You both have time to talk. So I think that's awesome. But I mean, we've had Gravis come talk to us. Blake's been in the gym a lot. I mean, the guys come back and the guys visit, but I say Walt just because I've actually talked with him a lot, and just to get to know him a little, and for him to care enough to have the time is pretty awesome.
I say, I mean, like he said, the guys are always around. I think just being like a lifelong Maryland basketball fan, like Gravis and Steve Blake, and when I got there my freshman year, Juan Dixon was around. Like those guys are like, like that's who I wanted to be like growing up. Len Elmore is another guy who's been around, who's like a big name, big figure.
Yeah.
He mentioned Walt Williams was at every game. That was awesome. That's like John Gilchrist was around a lot. That's another one. So those kind of guys, just like you grew up watching, just to be around them was always awesome.
Cool. Well, once again, guys, thank y'all so much, man. And it's just want to pick your brains as Maryland student athletes, and it's been a great time. And it was great this past year watching you guys, man, and hosting for you guys. So that was super dope, and I enjoyed my time, and it was a great experience for me as well. So I thank you guys for that, man. Making sure every night was some good stuff. So definitely appreciate that, man. Kudos to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you for having us on. We had a blast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. All right, Kevin. You good?
Yeah, I'm good, sir. I love the convo with these guys. Good talk.
All right. Solid. Hey, guys, thank y'all so much. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. All right, we'll talk again soon, Kev. I'll speak to you, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good night.
Some say that it gets no real on the field or the court. We capture the thrillers. Some opinions and all of the truth. Real people talking real sports on the stoop.